Welcome. I'm Tracy Smith, and this is Here Comes the Sun, a closer look at some of the people, places, and things we bring you every weekend on Sunday morning. Actor Kieran Culkin won both a Golden Globe and an Emmy Award for his portrayal of Roman Roy on Succession, redefining his career. The former child star had mostly taken roles in stage productions and smaller films before appearing on the HBO drama. Culkin told Mo Rocca while he mostly enjoyed acting, he didn't want the kind of stardom his brother Macaulay experienced.
Were you also worried about becoming famous?
Definitely. I feel like any rational person got to experience fame secondhand, they would not pursue it. It's not a nice thing.
And when you say secondhand, you mean because of your brother?
My brother Mac, yeah, that was
such a big star.
He was a huge international movie star, you know, at a young age. And I saw that and went, oh, I got it. That's awful. Let's never do that.
He worked on stage and only sporadically on film for years, before landing the part he's best known for. Roman Roy.
Guess who just didn't kill anyone, but maybe only lost a couple of thumbs?
I don't know.
This guy.
The filterless, fast-talking middle child scheming to inherit a media empire.
How you doing?
In Succession.
Later in the show, Kieran Culkin on how easily he took to acting.
Did you like it right away?
I did, yeah. Like I actually do kind of have a memory of being about 5 or 6 years old saying I want to be an actor, but I don't think that's an appropriate age to actually pick the career path. Turned out that little guy was right, but it took a while to get there. But yeah, I always liked it. I always thought it was fun. I mean, there was like a murky period in my early 20s where it was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do, and I don't know if it was enjoyable then, but it is now.
Then Lee Cowan goes inside Yellowstone boot camp, where the actors master horseback riding skills. Before filming begins on nearly every season of the beloved drama, creator Taylor Sheridan invites his cast to his ranch outside Dallas, so they look like naturals in the saddle.
You ready? Ready as we're gonna get.
That's how he taught Luke Grimes, who plays Casey Dutton.
That's it.
Reem put him on a horse, and they went for a 4-day pack trip into the wilderness.
At that point, we'd only really ridden in arenas, you know, like kind of loping in a circle, just getting used to everything. And now we're jumping creeks, and our horses are getting spooked by snakes, and it's, you know, it's just a whole different way of learning how to be on a horse.
That's all coming up right here on Here Comes the Sun. Between Kieran Culkin's role as the wild and brash Roman Roy on the TV drama Succession and his part in the new film A Real Pain as a messy but charming man-child, you might think that's who he is in real life. But while the actual Culkin admits he could have gone that route, he credits his wife, their 11-year marriage, and 2 kids with keeping him responsible and grounded. Here's Mo Rocca.
You remember, was it Helen and Mary that used to sit here? Yes. Yeah. How's Glenn?
He's fine.
Is he home?
Yes.
Okay.
It's always fun running into old friends.
You want to come up and see what the shape of the building is? Do you want to?
Yeah, you want to come up? Sure. What a treat.
This was not planned.
This was not planned, no.
Especially when you haven't seen them in years.
Which floor did you all live on?
We lived on the 3rd. This is where I was brought home from the hospital. Hi, Glenn. Good seeing you, dude.
Yeah, same here.
Hi. Is that too funny? Oh, this is so wild.
Weird.
I love it still leany.
Oh, of course it's lean.
I remember my mom baking a cake and it would come out slanted because the whole apartment was on a slant. Yeah,
Your apartment was too.
it was on a slant. We used to put cars on one end of the kitchen and let go and see them roll.
For 42-year-old Kieran Culkin, a visit with his former downstairs neighbors is a treat.
Culkin, C, apartment 3B. I mean, they added this new fancy buzzer, but they didn't bother to get rid of this one.
He spent the first 8 years of his life in this building in Manhattan's Yorkville neighborhood.
We lived in a tight space where it was just 7 of us running around. It was like a sort of little wolf pack mentality.
His father, Kit, himself a former actor, and mother, Patricia, a telephone operator, raised their 7 kids in a 4-room apartment. Kieran came fourth in the birth order.
Whenever the door would open to let the kids in, I used to stand aside and make sure, and I used to count to make sure all 6 of them got in before I got in. That's how I remember growing up, too, was I couldn't fall asleep until they all fell asleep. Like, I only existed because they did around me.
How did the family get into acting?
Neighbors of ours were running like an off-Broadway theater on the Upper East Side, and they knew that there was this family that had a bunch of kids, and whenever they needed a kid, they were like, you know, we might need a kid for this show. And my parents were more or less like, okay, yeah, what gender, what age? We got a whole bunch.
Soon enough, Macaulay, 2 years older than Kieran, became world famous as the star of Home Alone.
Going on vacation? Where you going? You hear me or what?
Kieran had a small role in the movie, and a year later played Steve Martin's son in Father of the Bride.
Ciao, Papa.
Hey.
Annie brought me this candy bar all the way from home.
Kieran was cute and charismatic, but making it as a grown-up actor meant, well, learning how to act.
I'm preparing to leave.
Where do you want to go?
Far away. I was thinking about joining the Peace Corps.
When I was 18, I did a movie, Igby Goes Down, and the director really wanted me to break kid acting habits because he really didn't like kid actors. And he was like, you still have a few bad habits.
Culkin had to unlearn the tricks that had served him so well as a kid.
He was like, you're doing something with your eyes. He would say,
Tricks, crutches.
socialize, or sometimes he would say, you know, that was Nickelodeon or something like that. He was like, you're doing kid stuff.
And when that didn't work,
He bought me a 6-pack of beer, and he goes, I want you to take this beer and do the scene in front of the mirror. And I was like, I don't think I can do that. I was like, I'm going to be too self-conscious. That's what the beer's for.
Culkin got praise for Igby, but he wasn't sure he wanted to keep acting.
Were you also worried about becoming famous?
Definitely. I feel like any rational person got to experience fame secondhand, they would not pursue it. It's not a nice thing.
And when you say secondhand, you mean because of your brother?
My brother, Mac, yeah. That
becoming
was
such a big star.
He was a huge international movie star, you know, at a young age. And I saw that and went, oh, I got it. That's awful. Let's never do that.
He worked on stage and only sporadically on film for years, before landing the part he's best known for. Roman Roy.
Guess who just didn't kill anyone, but maybe only lost a couple of thumbs?
I don't know.
This guy.
The filterless, fast-talking middle child scheming to inherit a media empire
How you doing?
in succession.
I land the deal, I kill Kendall, I'm crowned the king. Just like in Hamlet. If that happens in Hamlet, I don't care.
Even as a member of the fictional Roy family, though, Culkin's real family played a role. Back in 2008, his older sister, Dakota Culkin, was struck and killed by an automobile.
After a couple seasons on Succession, I realized there was some stuff that Roman did that I was like, oh, that's my sister. That was her sense of humor. She could find exactly what the right thing to make fun of you was that would get to you, but be really funny and make the room laugh. That was her.
16 years later, the loss of his sister is still devastating.
I only knew who I was because of who my siblings are. So to lose one was losing a big piece of myself, but losing one of my favorite people in the world. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get easier. It's just you get used to it, I guess. We stay moving, we stay light, we stay agile.
Culkin's newest project is also about family. In the movie A Real Pain, he and Jesse Eisenberg, who wrote and directed, play cousins on a trip to Poland to see where their late beloved grandmother was raised and the concentration camp she survived.
You don't feel weird being in a first-class car?
No, we paid
No?
for it. It's not hurting anybody. No.
Dude, we are Jews on a train in Poland. Think about it.
Culkin's character Benji is a charming but rudderless man-child, a contrast to Eisenberg's straight-laced family man.
Why do you think you connected with the role?
I don't really know what it was with me, but I instantly knew who this guy was. I understood their dynamic, and I really wanted to play.
You've said, I'm one quick little misstep away from being that person.
Yeah, I feel that's good.
What did you mean?
Good, I said that, good. I feel like
great
I
quality.
easily could have gone down that path. There was something in that I recognized as myself, but I'm not that guy at all. But I think I'm worried that I easily could have become that guy.
Had you not become married and or
Married, kids, or figured out how to, get my together.
Indeed, Culkin is not that guy. He's been married to his wife Jazz for 11 years. The couple has 2 children.
What do you like about being a dad?
Oh man, everything. Everything except dinner time. Dinner time's a terror. I've seen some kids sit and eat dinner. It's great. My kids sit and eat breakfast. They'll eat lunch, but dinner is just throwing things around the house, and it's very stressful.
Kieran Culkin may be at the top of his game, But he says he's still figuring it out.
So there's different versions of success. I think for many years, success for me was like working on projects I really like, nobody really sees, fly under the radar, but keep getting to do what I do. Well, now I'm like, well, now I got to figure out how to do the jobs I want, but also make money. And it's really hard to find the way to do that.
One word,
What?
Marvel.
After the break, an exclusive excerpt from Mo Rocca's chat with Kieran Culkin, something you can only see right here on Here Comes the Sun. Stay with us. As promised, here's more from Mo Rocca's interview with Kieran Culkin.
What was it about you that made you a successful child actor?
Oh, I think I was not good at it. But
Really?
I think so. Yeah, but good at it in that I knew how to hit my mark and I knew how to memorize my lines and stand there and say I knew kind of what was going on. But to me, it was just fun. Like, it was just easy and fun. It wasn't, the hard part was kind of being away from home and the family sometimes, because sometimes I would have to be like in LA with one parent or Chicago or something like that, and then the rest of the family would be home. Sometimes my brother and I would be working at the same time in different cities, so then there would have to be somebody looking after the kids, or all the kids would go to one spot while the other one. So that part was kind of hard, but being on set was always just a lot of fun. And,
Was it like playing pretend or
I was playing pretend and sitting there and I wasn't a total fool. Like, I knew who Steve Martin and Martin Short and Diane Keaton were, and I was like 9 years old on a set working with them, and that was really exciting.
So you knew that was really cool what you were doing?
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up watching those movies, so even at 9, I was like, oh my God, I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and now Steve Martin's my dad.
Did you like it right away?
I did, yeah. Like, I actually do kind of have a memory of being about 5 or 6 years old saying I want to be an actor, but I don't think that's an appropriate age to actually pick the career path. Turned out that little guy was right, but took a while to get there. But yeah, I always liked it. I always thought it was fun. I mean, there was like a murky period in my early 20s where it was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do, and I don't know if it was enjoyable then, but it is now.
I'm not just blowing smoke here. You're so believable in the role in Succession. It was hard for me to not believe you weren't that person.
No, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all,
the job, isn't it?
Exactly, that's the job. I can tell already that you don't speak that quickly in real life.
Okay.
Because he talks really fast.
Really? I feel like I'm going a mile a minute now, but I've had 3 coffees, so.
Okay, all right, yeah. What part of that character's personality do you wish was yours?
The money. No, personality. I don't know. There's a little bit of bleed over there, I suppose. But like, I'm kind of filterless, but he is completely without filter. And I think the first choice I made with Roman on the first day was like, before I figure out who this guy is and what the story is and all that, I was like, this guy has never had to suffer any consequences. He either pays his way out or talks his way out of anything. So he grew up being able to say whatever the hell he wanted. So that was in the script, and then there was the freedom to just call somebody out on, like, I would talk to the background and talk about their beard or something, like something that looked weird on them, or something. Like, he had no filter. He could just go and not know what he's going to say, but as he's going, he'll figure it out. I like it. So I don't know. I like that aspect of his character.
Up next, horsing around with the cast of Yellowstone. Welcome back. For Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan, how his actors look on horseback is crucial to the story he's telling. That's why he puts the cast through a rigorous boot camp on his own ranch, teaching them to rope, ride, and handle horses, so the characters on the show look as authentic as possible. Lee Cowan gave cattle roping a spin.
Yellowstone. Since its debut in 2018, the series about ranching, relatives, and retribution on Paramount, part of the CBS family, has always had a thing for the unbridled grace of horses.
Saddle another one. Today you learn to ride.
The actors seem just as much at home with the horses as the horses do with them.
When the horse bounces up, let it stand you in the stirrups. When it comes down, sit back in the saddle.
Yellowstone's writer and executive producer Taylor Sheridan won't have it any other way.
Most westerns you've ever seen, it's a bunch of horses in the distance running together, and then you cut to a bunch of actors sitting on fake horses.
Yeah.
Who wants to watch that?
Remind me your name, buddy?
A Texas-raised, self-professed cowboy himself, Sheridan could be as sharp as a spur if his actors don't look the parts that he's written for them.
Initially, we'll just trot around, okay?
That means more than just donning a cowboy hat and chaps. It means teaching his cast how to really ride.
And that allows me to make a better product when I'm filming it. I got happier actors, and I got happier horses.
Which is why before almost every season, Sheridan hosts what he calls a cowboy boot camp for the cast. Think of it as kind of a Hollywood dude ranch without the horsing around.
They put me on a different horse every day, a different saddle every day.
Cole Hauser plays Rip Wheeler.
Heard a lot of rumors about you, Mr. Wheeler. All of them bad.
Well, most are probably true.
He too grew up on a ranch in Oregon.
See that date? That's him submitting.
What does that mean?
That means he's ready to go to work. To do this role, requires like serious saddle time from different disciplines, whether it's reining, whether it's, cutting. Those are things that you have to get in the saddle and do, and repetition's a big deal. Right now, this is day 2. I think my ears are sore. I'm that sore right now, so.
Sheridan crams a lot into the few days while he and his actors are corralled here at his Texas ranch outside Dallas.
Where you look is where this horse is going.
He's hired some of the best cowboys out there to make sure the cast understands the risks.
You better be on your toes and pay attention,
Jake Ream was hired as a horse trainer out of Utah. But once Sheridan saw him,
I'm not my damn good horseback.
he made him a part of the cast, too.
What's that flag for?
Well, it teaches these colts to use their bodies the right way before I put them on a cow.
Why not just use a cow?
Oh, for hell's sakes, lady, that's kind of like practicing a fist fight when you're already in the middle of one.
To me, you can teach people a lot about horses in the arena and they feel safe and that, but it's better, in my opinion, to go ahead and, go let them ride. Go up some trails and learn to ride, learn to jump ditches, learn to, when a horse maybe trips on a rock, and teach them that way.
You ready? Ready as we're gonna get.
That's how he taught Luke Grimes, who plays Casey Dutton.
That's it.
Ream put him on a horse, and they went for a 4-day pack trip into the wilderness.
At that point, we'd only really ridden in arenas, like kind of loping in a circle, just getting used to everything. And now we're jumping creeks, and our horses are getting spooked by snakes, and it's, it's just a whole different way of learning how to be on a horse.
Authenticity is everything, and believe me, if something's not quite right, I'll start getting phone calls and text messages, and some of my close friends, picking on me a little bit about it. Hey, were you in charge of that? like, hey, man, easy.
Ethan Lee was making saddles before he got the call to teach actors how to sit in one.
The main thing is just to try to get them where they look really natural on a horse, to look like they've been doing this all their life.
Is that hard to do, though?
Yes and no.
This is a rope.
Thanks.
These are your hands.
Thank goodness they're around, because it is pretty easy to look like an idiot out here.
Just like this. Just like that.
But there is a welcoming spirit here. Neither Jake nor Ethan, who also acts on the show, look down on those without mud on their boots.
Now step and step. Voila!
Instead,
Look at that.
they take pretty kindly to newcomers.
Right there. Whack! Perfect! Okay, we're all done here. Let's go ahead and go home. He's got it. That's perfect.
That was certainly the case for Jennifer Landon, who plays the unfiltered ranch hand, Teeter.
Your name, Peter?
Do I look like my name is Peter, you skunk-hard mother?
She just called me a mother.
You understood that, didn't you bow-legged bastard?
She wanted that part so badly that she had her managers spin an Old West yarn about her actual riding ability.
I haven't been on a horse since I was about 7 years old, but I can trot. And they went, okay, we're gonna tell them that you're a professional. So I guess that lie worked, and then we had to deal with the problem down the road.
5 seasons down the road, and she may now be more accomplished on a horse than her father, the late Michael Landon, from Bonanza.
I've gotten to the place where I can rope a cow at a dead standstill, and I can rope a dummy cow being pulled by a gator off the horse.
That's an accomplishment.
It is.
If Yellowstone really does ride off into the sunset after this season,
Just don't know how many more times we'll get to do this.
Me neither, son.
if anything, it might leave fans with a better understanding of the joy and poetry of horse and human in motion.
You know, I got half a mind to run up that hill and do it again.
I'm Tracy Smith. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you here next time on Here Comes the Sun.